Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene in Hong Kong House of Cards. In tonight's scene, we have someone that made an appointment to a certain doctor about one of his other patients.
Essentially, yes.
Let's see how that pans out. So, when the nurse finally says, your turn, back door.
Dimitri heads in.
You go through the back door and, the good doctor says, come in, sit down. Do you want a candy?
He looks and goes, well, what flavor is it? No, I'm just kidding. Boot to the head. Sorry. Reeling it in. It's early for me.
Anyway, he has a whole bowl, so you can choose whatever.
Yeah, he looks at it and he actually looks tempted, but he's like, nah, I'm watching my figure.
All right.
And then he once the door's closed, he's like, I assume it's okay to talk here?
I handle a lot of my meetings in between sessions with my patients here, so yes, it is.
Excellent. By the way, out of character, would I have seen the Mandarin at that one Tarot Council meeting? Like in the crowd, essentially, or whatever?
Somewhat in the background. He would have left the changelings be more active. He is just there because he has
presence,
to be
yeah.
not how do I put this? He's not the voice. He's more like that one dude in the background that you may or may not have seen, if at all.
Okay. Then it's worth mentioning that Dimitri seems to recognize him, but you would not recognize Dimitri.
So anyway, what is it that you wish, child?
I suppose a proper introduction is in order. I don't believe we've spoken before this. I am Dimitri Dragomir, currently of the House of Pentacles. I am also serving as the seat of judgment in this city, as far as the Tarot Council is concerned. And he's like, obviously, not wanting to monopolize. He's like waiting because he hasn't actually heard the doc's name. He's literally only seen whatever was posted on the board.
As you well may know by this cabinet and the notice on the board, I am Dr. Wu Mao, Mandarin of the Hessian.
Excellent. I hate to... Okay. He looks like he's having trouble articulating himself, which is a little odd for him. He's just like... There was a rather unpleasant encounter the other evening involving one of your people, and I was hoping to consult with you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, damn it, due to time, this probably would have been hours ago, so he would have said this night instead of last evening or whatever.
Anyway.
Late night appointment, yeah. Anyways.
Whatever.
Yep. Does he respond to that, or is he waiting for details?
He's literally listening to your story.
Okay. Essentially, my associates and I were at the museum, as you're familiar with it, and there were some discussions going on in our presence. We've had dealings with one Zan Sushan, if I'm pronouncing that right. He doesn't usually say his last name, so he's like, checking. Like making sure you're familiar with the individual. Does he get a nod?
He's still waiting.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Said individual was discussing with another member of my house, one Serena Novak. Apparently, Miss Novak has created some rather disturbing weapons which are meant for the purpose of being used against the technocracy. Now, that's all well and good, except her intent to use these is to have them distributed to various criminal organizations in the city to be used in a wide range guerrilla action against the technocracy, to be seen by as many people as possible, filmed by as many people as possible, and made to cause consternation and panic. Needless to say, that's not usually conducive to the health and well-being of people in the city. Your associate, Zahn, was apparently involved in that. He was brokering a trade between Miss Novak and the Triad to provide them with the weapons in question. Apparently, they were in the stages of discussing a demonstration of its capabilities. He kind of like says on the side, it's a grenade using microwave technology that knocks out electronics. It is very advanced. It is the sort of advanced technology that arouses the suspicion of the technocracy. If they know people to have this technology on a wide scale and are using it, he says, like, okay, to make it simple, if one person uses this device, it will cause some interest from the technocracy, but they know people have this technology. If it is used by a large organization across the city, or used by multiple people across the city even, their response is very calculated. First, they form a task force. They investigate whoever is involved. Then, when they're fully aware of who was involved, they kill those involved. They confiscate the merchandise. The inventor, the broker, and those who use it will all be killed. It is a very thorough solution. He's like making sure you understand the gravity of that. Like, this is not a joke. This is not an exaggeration. This is what will happen. And it continues. They were discussing a possible demonstration of its use before any deal would be finalized. I have voiced my concerns about this multiple times to different individuals, including the speaker of my own house, who came to me and asked what the results of this action would be, and I explained much as I just did to you. I explained again to Miss Novak, this is a horrible idea. Please don't do this. You will get us all killed. Her response was essentially that she would rather be doing something as opposed to doing nothing. Zahn apparently shared this sentiment. In his words, and I'm going to best quote as possible, it would be better to die. It would be better for the city to die fighting than to live under the oppression of the technocracy. And he's looking at you for a reaction on that before he continues.
He is still waiting for you to finish.
Is there a facial change? Anything to show like his reaction to this?
More like interest in what you have to say. So he's waiting for you to finish your discourse.
Okay. I was just waiting for a reaction. It's all good. I do have a dot in empathy, damn it. Just one.
Whatever. But
it's all good. All right.
You can roll if you really want to, but right now he's just sitting and waiting for you to finish.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What happened afterwards was a little bit unpleasant, and part of it, as I said, is more of an in-house matter for our own organization, the Pentacles. But I contacted our speaker, who immediately essentially vetoed any immediate action and said it should be brought up to the council. I showed this to Miss Novak, who did not agree and promptly walked out with Zahn. A few minutes later, there was an explosion from the alley next to the museum. And then a roar. I'm not clear on the details of what happened, but it seems there was a weapons test. in the alley next to the museum. We left before anyone could come to investigate. I don't know what happened to those we left behind. The last thing I saw, there was a 30-foot alligator chasing Zahn and Serena. And he's dead serious. Now, all I will say is this. As far as Miss Novak goes, that will be a matter handled by our own house. I am already trying to determine what will happen for her breach of etiquette or recklessness and so on and so forth. As one of the judges in the city, and the only one who's currently around, it seems, because Mr. Roger has had some troubles of late. Due to all of that, it falls on me to make sure that this is brought up to the right people. Ignoring Miss Novak's actions, I find Zahn's attitude and actions very troubling. We've explained to him the consequences of embarking on the path he has begun. He seems quite willing to take the city down with him. It is apparently his view that since the technocracy is so overwhelming and impossible to defeat, that we should simply do whatever we can, no matter how foolish or doomed an action may be, simply because it's better than doing nothing. I'd like to point out, we have been quite active. My associates and I have done many things in the past couple months to aid the city. We have helped problems of various groups in the city. We have struck blows against the technocracy, but we have done it intelligently. In fact, in at least one of these notes, we scored a major victory that as yet the technocracy are still unaware of. So, that's my story. If you have any questions or doubts, there are other individuals who are present, several of whom were associates of mine. But the only other witnesses would be Miss Novak, myself, Miss Langley, Mr. Castle King, and Zahn. So unfortunately, there were not many others privy to this. He's looking at you at this point like he's basically done explaining. He's got questions, but he's going to let you respond first because, he's just been battling for a little bit now.
Yeah, and you can tell with these that the good doctor is easily just waiting for you to finish.
Oh, he's basically finished. He's just, waiting to hear what you've got to say at this point. He's got questions, but he's not going to ask them until, he's told his story at this point.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to roll a bit of perception empathy with the spec of yes.
With the spec of yes. Go ahead.
So, just saying.
And I actually may have to roll a manipulation subterfuge on one point, but go ahead. It depends on what you're looking for. It's very specific.
Okay. Perception. Okay. So.
Make a roll.
I have 5 successes.
Now, what are you trying to determine?
He's not bullshitting me, is he?
No, he's being truthful. Is there anything else you're trying to determine when you're checking him out? Are you looking? Is this a general thing or just checking for?
This is more like a general sense of this is not a bullshit and straight up lie. He is generally telling me the truth.
I am rolling manipulation subterfuge on one thing right now. And my difficulty is 4, and I get 1 automatic success. Hope to God I get 5 successes. Nope. I got 4. All right. Masterful person, you. Um, this guy is angry and doing a very good job of hiding it. Like, he is as placid and calm as he may sound right now, like, normal tone of voice, just simply explaining the facts. This man is pissed.
Okay.
Like, and he's completely, his hands are steady. He's not about to do anything, but he ain't happy.
Okay.
But he's doing a very good job of hiding it. So I mean,
Yeah. But this is kind of like it's the good doctor's thing. So
yeah.
he'll be like, "Would you like something to drink? One of these candies?"
I could use some water if nothing else. That's been a long
Very well.
night.
He gets up and pours you some water from one of those big bowls.
There aren't any little Rokia in it, are there?
That's a joke, but
Yeah.
never mind. He gives you the glass of water.
Yeah. So he'll drink it. Stamina check. It's poison. No.
Stop.
Sorry. Anyways, okay. So what else is he saying?
What his reaction would be as soon as he returns to his seat is, now, since you are the seat of judgment, I would like to clarify, as one of the members of the House of Cups and the leader of the Hessian faction within it, that we, as a group, do not share Master Zan's personal opinion on the fact that the grim reality that apparently he is publicizing, that we should go, and to quote you on this one, go down fighting better than not doing anything at all. We are all doing as best as we can. Sometimes we ask other people for help. Sometimes we think that we can do this ourselves.
Nods.
And I would like to point out that indeed in the past I am not as vocal as a member of the council as I should be or could be. I like to keep my business to myself and hopefully just guide the humans within my purview and the fellow Hessian that I supervise. And I personally believe that they should all make their own mistakes and learn from them. However, this issue that you have brought up to my attention is indeed a grave one, and I do not wish to forsake the lives of all those that we have been trying to protect for a very long time. No matter how much we like or dislike some of the other members of the council.
You get a wry grin at that, actually. Like, not that he's happy or anything, but like, yeah, I get what you're saying. There's a lot of shade thrown back and forth. That's the attitude. Anyways, continue.
I would like to also point out that our duty is to protect those that cannot protect themselves from the various monsters in the night, as some like to put it. But obviously, even though sometimes danger comes knocking, we are found wanting, and we need to at least try to rectify that. I would like to deal with Zahn personally. If I find that your house speaker brings this matter up to me as well, I will tell him the same thing. I will try to talk to Master Zahn personally and try to rectify his error. Now, has he done something to you or your own group, subgroup within the house of what did you say you belong to?
Pentacles.
Pentacles. Yes. Did he do anything wrong to you? I would like to share my support to show that the Hessian at large are still team players.
In all honesty, he's actually been rather helpful. He helped us contact what was the word? A D Shen, who has begun working with us, my group, and it's been a very beneficial relationship. We owe him somewhat for that. He was reimbursed, though. That's a separate story. He is not pleased with how he was reimbursed. That's a completely separate issue, though. That has no bearing on this. If you're asking to determine if I have a personal grudge against the man, no. Nor does anyone else in my employ. Personal like and dislike does not factor into business in my world.
You do not need to like or dislike someone in order to do business. It is
Correct.
simply business. But I am curious. Could you elaborate on that?
Certainly. Uh, the Let me think of a way to give a clear synopsis. I had some unpleasant dealings with the Western Blood Drinkers, a specific subset of their group known as the Sabbat. The problem has been rectified, by the way. They are no longer a threat. They are apparently discussing this matter with the. Last I had heard, they had indicated they were going to discuss matters with the the new prince of the Western Blood Drinkers. So hopefully some sort of compromise can be resolved. I'm not clear on the details of that. However, at the time they were menacing our group, possibly with justification. That's a longer story, but suffice to say, we were receiving visits from them. They threw one of our vehicles in the lake or in the harbor, that sort of thing. Bypassed our wards. So we contacted Zahn, who offered his services to help. He contacted the D Shen. It was a very lengthy ritual. And we made our own bargain with the D Shen, separate from him. So we have a D Shen guarding our territory, and in exchange, we help the land and the spirits. So far, it's been a very beneficial arrangement. Now, as payment for being the facilitator of this transaction, Zahn had requested a item that we used, for lack of a better word, a invisibility suit. He claimed he wanted it for his collection, that it would not be used. It was simply something to have because of its unique nature. He had seen it, of course, and we had tried to explain there were other facets of it. There was much involved in the maintenance of it. He didn't care. He wanted the suit. So we gave him the suit. Why argue with someone who knows exactly what they want? Of course, as we had tried to explain, the suit does not function well outside of its containment, so probably later in the same night after we delivered the suit, its abilities would have diminished to the point of non-functionality. He sees that as faulty merchandise. I see that as getting exactly what you asked for and ignoring the salesperson's advice. That is the extent of our dealings with him as far as business goes.
Hmm. Well, you respected the letter of the dealing. You have tried to explain it to him that there are other facets, yet he didn't want to listen to your warning.
He seemed
That is
he
correct.
seemed utterly disinterested in it. By the way, this discussion came up between us just before this whole grenade issue brought up, and we made it clear to him at the time that if he wanted to discuss a repair to the suit or possibly, allowing us to actually set him up with the facilities to contain the suit properly, we'd be more than willing to discuss the cost of it. But we would not be doing it for free. In other words, we're not closing off business from him. We're simply saying if you want us to go to extra lengths when this was, brought on by you, we're we're not going to do it for free. But again, that is business, and that is as far as it has gone.
All right. So, if I understand this correctly, he didn't want to listen to the whole maintenance issue of the suit. He didn't want to listen to your advice when it came to the suit actually functioning.
Yes, and he also seems to be somewhat, based on the way he discussed it earlier this evening, he seems to be confused as to what the suit actually does. In layman's terms, it does make you invisible, but he referred to it as thermo-optic camouflage. That suit does not hide your heat. To anyone with the proper equipment looking at heat signatures, you would show up plain as day. It is only a visual aid to stealth. And
Ah,
we had made that clear to him, but as I said, he does not seem to have a knack for listening to our explanations. I hope we weren't being too technical, but I thought we were making it very clear.
so he didn't listen to what you had to say. He rushed over and tried to get to the end part of the deal, even though you tried to explain to him that there are many facets that need to be addressed when it comes to the suit itself. Am I
Yes, and
correct?
yes, and there were assumptions made that should not have been. We showed him that the suit could make one invisible. He has seen us use it many times. However, we never at any point said that that suit could make one's heat signature vanish. A feature we didn't add on until a much later version of the same suit, a very different version, which he did not seem to. Again, that one would have been much more expensive. It was not for sale. Um,
Mm, understandable.
that was a first attempt at the craft, for lack of a better explanation.
It happens. What can I say? But that is, from what I understand, and if you are speaking the truth, that is a
Feel free to
fault on
perk empathy. Feel free to perk empathy, but I won't even need to roll.
it is just it's a yes.
Yes. God, that's a lot of successes.
Just saying it's a yes and tends to
7,
explode.
8,
So
9. Jesus, you got 9 successes if that one takes out of 10. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he's telling the truth.
So literally he has a deficiency of listening. Once when you discuss the terms of this exchange with this stealth suit of yours and his involvement in dealing with the Dishin. and the second time when it came to actually dealing with the grenade situation. Is that
Correct.
correct?
If I followed what you just said out of character, yes, that's correct. Pretty sure I got it.
Yeah. So the heart of the issue is that he didn't want to listen to all of your warnings due to why.
And as evidenced by the other issue at hand, that seems to be a problem not simply related to matters of business, but one of other policies as well.
Oh,
So you see
can
my
I
concern.
do elaborate?
No, he's referring to the whole, like, the fact that we're warning you this idea is bad, you will die. And he's just like, no, shut up. We're going to do it anyways. And if we do die, so whatever. That's what he's referring to.
He gets up, pours himself some tea, and gets some of the kind of like a fistful of his own candy, which he starts eating and drinking with tea.
Demetrius like resisting the medical urge to say, that's how you get diabetes.
But anyway, after finishing and throwing the wrappers in the garbage, he sits back down. And on your side, is there something that you would need of me as the leader of the Hessian in the city?
Other than simply making you aware of the problem?
Yes.
No, that is all.
Very well. I'm sorry for you to have visited me on such a matter. I
I
hope
would have. Very good. Yeah.
I hope that my underlings will conduct themselves a lot more exemplary to their station in the future. And I will point this out that we are in a council with other that aren't like us. And they do not share our views necessarily, but for now, I would like to say that if this hasn't caused any problems on your faction, maybe the speaker of your house
Pentacles.
of yeah of your house would talk to me about actual reparations or whatever
The,
fault has
this,
lied.
the speaker of my house is currently indisposed. I believe he was actually going to attempt to visit you this evening, but another matter of grave city importance came up. He is currently recovering, which is why I took this upon myself. I can't claim to speak on his behalf or anything, but I know he would have wanted you made aware of this.
That is perfectly understandable. I have been made aware. If he needs any help with whatever problems, he just needs to let me know. And I will try to the best of my abilities to help and guide those under our employ and under our protection. Will that be all?
I believe it will be. Thank you very much. He looks a little bit calmer, by the way, to your superbly bullshit trained eyes. God damn you.
I mean, it's an NPC. It's kind of his job to look at people and see if they're trying to bullshit him. So, you know, you can take one or two candies for yourself if you feel the need on the road.
Is there anything chocolatey in there?
Yes.
Okay. He's going to take one or two of the chocolatey ones for Asuka.
All right. Take the back door, and I'll send in my next patient.
All right. And he nods his head respectfully and heads out.
Goodbye.
Yep.
And I think after he sends in the next person that needs a bath and then needs actual treatment of wounds/illnesses, we can end our scene. Thank you for watching. Have pleasant dreams as always. Thank you for playing.